At this point, for me, Zack Snyder is probably the most overrated modern director. And yeah, he's going back to the well. 300, a TV show, is possibly in development over at Warner. Man, I tell you, he couldn't rip off Star Wars enough. He's going to go right back to ripping off his own stuff. Let's talk about the story. All right, I'm Pops, and I've made no bones, and I am not a big Snyder fan. Yes, I think that it's problematic when every single one of your successes is based on someone else's work, and anything you do original has really been mediocre at best. And that includes all the stuff he did over at DC, all you crazy Snyder bros. But he's going back to the well. A new report from Variety says a 300 TV series adaptation is in early development over at Warner Brothers TV. The exact plot details are still being worked out. Sources say the show would serve as a prequel to the 2006 film. Oh, there we go. There we go. We want a prequel, so we don't even want stakes. So you don't even want stakes. Like, you want a story about what? Little Leonidas? You want a story about leading up to the battle? Like, we know certain characters won't die. Like, I kid you not, the level of dumb that's in Hollywood, especially at places like Warner, they cannot get out of their own darn way. Deals are being negotiated. Snyder, who directed and co-wrote 300, co-wrote is quite co-wrote is definitely an exaggeration there, don't you guys think? I mean, literally, he what adapted? He wrote the screenplay that is basically a storyboard of the Frank Miller graphic novel. All right. Boy, that's a lenient credit, isn't it? Snyder's in talks to direct, executive produce. Deborah Snyder, of course, is executive producing. She would be returning along with Zach. The Stone Quarry, that's their company. Wesley Collar is also on board. Gianni Nunari, just a whole bunch of producers. So we're going into the project with like 6 or 7 names. That's never a good sign for me. Based on the graphic novel, Frank Miller, Lynn Varley, loosely tied to historical events. All that's true. Inspiration from a 1962 movie, 300 Spartans, which I need to rewatch. In the film, Leonidas, king of Spartan, leads a small force of elite soldiers against a much larger army, Xerxes of Persia. So that's kind of how it goes. And yeah, it's ooh, Rise of the Empire was released in 2014. Didn't care for that. Not a big fan of that. So yeah, it is in the works and possibly happening. Is there any chance that this could work? A prequel by the dude that can't do his own stuff right. I just he was talking about a director's cut of Rebel Moon, a director's streaming project that was broken into 2 films. That is his Star Wars film that they couldn't get done. And it's the strong female lead. Now we're what? We're gonna have a 300 prequel from this guy. This guy that what? What is the best Snyder film? Put those in your head besides 300. What are your best films? What? Dawn of the Dead? Remake of other stuff? You like Watchmen? Again, comic book. What do you like? What is it about is it all the DC stuff? Because all the DC stuff turned into a failure. It turned into a complete debacle. Worst case scenario, it was ruined because of some tragedy that his family had to go through and other people couldn't kind of like drive it home. But the Snyder cut is exceedingly long-winded and shows that he was taking pieces of what Jeff Johns had done in a comic book story and making it 10 times worse. And he was always making changes for the sake of making changes. This guy is not a true fan. I don't want to hear about it. Oh, he's a fanboy. He loves comic books. Dude, he went out of his way. Oh, we have to change Superman's trunks. Oh, we have to do this. We have to do that. Like, what decisions were made that were so great and that will be talked about in 10 or 20 years? Or will just be a ranking of all these other things? Like this Man of Steel, other Superman stuff rank against the 78 or the Superman 2 movies? Okay. Does the Batman stuff rank? Does any of this stuff? Like, what is it? Wonder Woman is probably the most rewatchable thing for me. And how much of his fingerprints are on that? A 300 prequel to me is just the level of exhaustion and the complete lack of ideas coming out of these people. I cannot believe they didn't even go, well, Rise of Empire failed. Maybe we could do something with like a TV show like Game of Thrones. We could do a House of the Dragon. We could do something like that with 300 now, kind of pick up the story, possibly. And he could be a consultant, a producer, maybe. But the fact that he wants to be involved just shows just done. Just most overrated guy until I'm proven it. Who? What? M Night Shyamalan? Yeah, okay, I get it. The one trick pony, but who's talking about him right now? Nobody, right? Uh, who is the more overrated director than Zack Snyder? That's all. I'm sure some of you are really angry at me right now. It's fine. I get it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Take care.
Thank you for choosing